The stars looked different today. Captain Jae-ho Kim stood on the bridge of the exploration ship New Seoul and watched the alien world grow larger on the main screen. After traveling for 3 months through space, they had finally reached their destination. This was the moment humanity had dreamed about for hundreds of years. "Captain, we're getting a response to our message," said Hyejin Choi from her position at the communication station. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel as alien signals filled the ship's computers. "They're speaking the common galactic language just like we hoped." Jae-ho nodded and looked around the bridge at his crew. These were the best people Earth could send. Mi-young Park, his science officer, was studying her readings with excitement. Dong-woo Lee sat ready at the tactical station, though they had no weapons to use. Tae-min Yoon monitored the ship's systems from engineering. They were all good people who believed in this mission. "What are they saying?" Jae-ho asked. Hyejin listened to her headset and smiled. "They welcome us, Captain. They want to meet with us. They're sending coordinates for a meeting place in orbit around the planet." For 40 years, human scientists had been listening to alien radio signals from space. They had worked hard to understand the languages and learn about the different species that lived among the stars. The signals spoke of something called the Galactic Confederation, a group of 12 different alien species that worked together in peace. Now, finally, humans were ready to make contact. The New Seoul carried no weapons of any kind. Instead, the cargo holds were filled with gifts. They had brought examples of human art, music recordings, books, and scientific information. Everything was chosen to show that humans were peaceful and wanted to be friends. "Take us to the meeting point," Jae-ho ordered. The ship moved through space toward the alien coordinates. Soon they could see another vessel waiting for them. It was beautiful in a way that human ships were not. The alien ship looked like it, was made of crystal and light with smooth curves that seemed to flow like water. It was much larger than the New Seoul but somehow felt gentle rather than threatening. "Captain, they're asking us to come aboard their ship for the meeting," Hyejin reported. "They say they have prepared a special chamber where we can breathe and be comfortable." Jae-ho felt his heart beating faster. This was really happening. After all the years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, they were about to meet beings from another world. He chose 3 crew members to come with him. Mi-young for her scientific knowledge, Dong-woo for security, and Hyejin to help with communication. The transport beam was unlike anything they had experienced. One moment they were standing in the New Seoul's transport room, and the next they found themselves in a large, bright chamber inside the alien ship. The walls seemed to glow with soft light, and the air smelled like flowers and rain. "Welcome, humans of Earth." The voice came from a tall, elegant being that stood in the center of the room. Its skin looked like living crystal, changing colors as it moved. It had long, graceful arms and large eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. This was their first alien, and it was beautiful. "I am Ambassador Veltar of the Axolian people," the being said, its voice musical and kind. "We have been waiting for this moment for a very long time." Jae-ho stepped forward and bowed slightly, the way they had practiced. "I am Captain Jae-ho Kim of the United Earth Space Command. We come in peace and friendship." Ambassador Veltar made a gesture that might have been a smile. "We know, Captain Kim. We have been studying your transmissions for many years. Your species is most interesting. You have overcome great challenges to reach the stars." The meeting room was filled with other aliens, representatives from different species in the Confederation. There were beings that looked like walking trees, others that seemed to be made of living metal, and creatures that floated in the air like jellyfish. All of them watched the humans with what seemed like curiosity and welcome. Mi-young could barely contain her excitement as she shared the gifts they had brought. She showed them recordings of human music, from classical symphonies to modern songs. The aliens listened with great interest, their heads tilting in ways that suggested they found the sounds fascinating. "Your music has such emotion," said one, of the tree-like beings. "It speaks of struggle and hope, of joy and sadness. Most species create sounds that are pleasant, but human music tells stories." They shared examples of human art next. Paintings and sculptures, photographs of Earth's landscapes, images of human cities and natural wonders. The aliens examined everything carefully, asking many questions about human culture and history. "You are a young species," Ambassador Veltar observed. "Yet you have accomplished much in a short time. Your technology is primitive by our standards, but your creativity is remarkable." Dongwu felt a little uncomfortable at being called primitive, but he reminded himself that these aliens had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. Of course, their technology was more advanced. "We would like to learn from you," Jeho said. "Humanity has always dreamed of joining a larger community among the stars. We hope to prove ourselves worthy of friendship with the Confederation." "Friendship?" Ambassador Veltar repeated the word slowly. "Yes, I believe friendship between our peoples is possible. But first, there is much you must learn about galactic civilization. There are rules and customs, ways of behaving that keep peace between so many different species." The meeting continued for several hours. The aliens asked many questions about Earth, about human history, about how humans thought and felt about different things. Some questions seemed strange. They wanted to know about human wars, about how humans fought each other, about weapons, and military tactics. "We study the history of all species that might join the Confederation," Ambassador Veltar explained when Hyejin asked why they were so interested in human conflicts. "Understanding the past helps us predict the future. All species have periods of violence before they learn to live in peace." Mi Young shared human scientific discoveries, showing the aliens how humans had learned to split atoms, how they had developed computers and space travel, how they had begun to understand the universe around them. The aliens seemed impressed, but also thoughtful in a way that was hard to read. "Your species learns quickly," one of the floating jellyfish-like beings said. "Perhaps too quickly. Most species take much longer to develop such technologies." "Is that bad?" Mi Young asked. "Not bad," Ambassador Veltar said carefully. "But rapid development can sometimes lead to problems. We have seen species destroy themselves when they advance too fast." As the meeting came to an end, Ambassador Veltar made what sounded like a generous offer. "The Confederation Council will need time to discuss humanity's application for membership. This is normal. Such decisions are not made quickly. In the meantime, we would like to establish regular communication between our peoples. Perhaps we can arrange for human observers to visit some of our worlds, and Confederation representatives can visit Earth." Jeho felt a surge of hope and pride. This was going even better than they had dared to dream. "We would be honored by such an arrangement." "Excellent," the ambassador said. "Return to your ship now. We will contact you in a few days with more details about the next steps. Please take some gifts from us as well." The aliens gave them several items: crystals that stored vast amounts of information, devices that could translate any language instantly, and star charts showing the locations of Confederation worlds. These were incredible gifts that would advance human knowledge by decades. As they prepared to return to the New Sol, Ambassador Veltar spoke privately with Captain Kim. "Your species has great potential, Captain, but potential can be dangerous, as well as wonderful. The galaxy is vast and full of many different kinds of life. Not all of them think the way humans do." "What do you mean?" Jeho asked. "Some species value peace above all else. Others value strength. Some believe in cooperation, others in dominance. The Confederation exists because we have learned to balance these different views. Humans will need to find their place in this balance." Jeho nodded, though he wasn't entirely sure what the ambassador meant. "We want to learn. We want to be good neighbors to all species." "I believe you do," Ambassador Veltar said. "That is why I hope the Council will accept humanity into our community." The transport beam carried them back to the New Sol, and soon they were back among familiar sights and sounds. The crew gathered on the bridge as Jeho told them about the meeting. Everyone was excited and hopeful. First contact had been a complete success. "Set course for the edge of the system," Jeho ordered. "We'll wait there for their next communication." As the New Sol moved away from the alien world, none of the humans noticed the small, almost invisible devices that had been placed on their ship during the meeting. They didn't see the coded transmissions that were being sent to hidden locations throughout the galaxy. In the beautiful crystal ship, Ambassador Veltar stood before a communication screen showing the faces of 11 other alien leaders. These were the true rulers of the Confederation, and their expressions were not friendly. "The examination is complete," Veltar reported. "The humans are exactly as our long-range studies suggested. They are intelligent, creative, and..." 3 days had passed since the historic meeting with the Galactic Confederation. The crew of the New Soul was still excited about their success. They spent their time studying the alien gifts and preparing reports for Earth. Captain J-Ho, Kim looked forward to returning home as heroes who had made first contact with friendly aliens. Mi-Young Park worked in the science lab, examining the crystal data storage devices the aliens had given them. The information inside was incredible. Star maps showing thousands of worlds, basic explanations of alien technology, and cultural guides for dozens of different species. It was like receiving the greatest treasure in human history. "Captain, you should see this," Mi-Young called over the ship's communication system. "These star charts show trade routes connecting hundreds of star systems. The Confederation controls territory larger than we ever imagined." J-Ho smiled as he walked to the science lab. Everything was going perfectly. Soon they would jump to faster-than-light travel and return to Earth with the greatest news in human history. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and they had found friends among the stars. "The aliens were generous with their gifts," J-Ho said as he looked at Mi-Young's computer displays. "This information will advance human science by decades." "Captain," Ye-Jin's voice came over the communication system, but she sounded worried instead of excited. "I'm picking up some unusual readings on long-range sensors. Multiple contacts approaching our position." J-Ho and Mi-Young quickly returned to the bridge. Dongwu was already at his station studying the tactical displays with a puzzled expression. "What do you see?" J-Ho asked. 12 ships approaching from different directions," Dongwu reported. "They're moving fast and will reach us in about 10 minutes. The strange thing is they're not using the same drive signatures as the Confederation ship we met before." "Maybe they're from different species in the Confederation," Ye-Jin suggested. "Remember, there are 12 different member species." J-Ho nodded. That made sense. Perhaps different species had different types of ships. "Try to contact them. Let them know who we are." Ye-Jin worked at her station for several minutes, sending messages on all the frequencies the aliens had taught them, but there was no response. The approaching ships continued toward the New Soul without acknowledging the human transmissions. "Captain, I'm getting better readings on those ships now," Dongwu said, and his voice sounded concerned. "They're not exploration vessels or diplomatic ships. These are warships. Big ones." A cold feeling grew in J-Ho's stomach. "Warships? Are you certain?" "Positive. I'm reading heavy armor plating, shield generators, and what look like weapon systems. Each of those ships could destroy 100 vessels like ours." The bridge fell silent as everyone tried to understand what was happening. Why would the Confederation send warships to meet them? Had something gone wrong with the diplomatic mission? "Captain, incoming transmission," Ye-Jin announced. "Put it on screen." The main display lit up with the image of an alien face. It was not Ambassador Veltar or any of the species they had met before. This creature looked like it was made of living metal, with glowing red eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. When it spoke, its voice was cold and mechanical. "Human vessel, you will surrender immediately. Prepare to be boarded and destroyed." "What?" J-Ho stood up from his captain's chair. "There must be some mistake. We are peaceful representatives from Earth. We just met with Ambassador Veltar 3 days ago." "There is no mistake," the alien replied. "The Confederation Council has declared humanity a Class X extinction threat. By order of the Galactic Authority, your species will be eliminated. You have 10 seconds to shut down your engines and surrender." The transmission ended, leaving the human crew staring at each other in shock and confusion. This could not be happening. The meeting with Ambassador Veltar had gone perfectly. The aliens had been friendly and welcoming. "Captain, they're powering up weapons," Dongwu reported. "All 12 ships. We need to get out of here right now." Do we have enough power for a jump to faster than light speed? Jae-ho asked Tae-min over the communication system. Not for another hour, the engineer replied. The drive system is still cooling down from our arrival here. Then we run on normal engines, Jae-ho decided. All power to the engines. Take us away from those ships as fast as we can go. The new Soul accelerated quickly, but the alien warships were much faster. Within minutes, they had formed a sphere around the human vessel, trapping it completely. They're jamming our communications, Hae-jin reported. I can't send any messages to Earth or anywhere else. The first weapon blast hit the new Soul's shields like a hammer blow. The entire ship shook and lights flickered on the bridge. Alarms began sounding throughout the vessel. Shields down to 60%, Dongwoo called out. They're using some kind of energy weapon I've never seen before. More blasts followed quickly. The alien ships were firing in a coordinated pattern, hitting the new Soul from multiple directions at once. This was not random violence. It was a carefully planned execution. Why are they doing this? Mi-young asked as another blast shook the ship. We came in peace. We offered friendship. Jae-ho gripped his chair as the ship shuddered under another attack. Suddenly, he understood. The questions about human wars, the interest in human weapons and military history, the careful way Ambassador Veldtar had spoken about species that developed too quickly. They were never planning to be our friends, he said quietly. The whole diplomatic meeting was a trap. They wanted to study us, to learn about our technology and our location. Shields down to 20%, Dongwoo reported. We can't take much more of this. Jae-ho looked around the bridge at his crew. These were good people who had volunteered for a mission of peace. They deserved better than to die in the darkness between stars, betrayed by aliens they had trusted. All crew to escape pods, he ordered. Abandon ship immediately. Captain, what about you? Mi-young asked. Someone needs to get a warning message to Earth. The manual quantum communicator can punch through their jamming, but it will destroy the ship and everything around it. Mi-young shook her head. We're not leaving you behind. That's an order, Jae-ho said firmly. Earth needs to know what happened here. Humanity needs to be warned that the aliens are coming. Dongwoo stood up from his station. Sir, let me stay and trigger the communicator. You should be the one who survives to lead the defense of Earth. I'm the captain, Jae-ho replied. This is my responsibility. The ship shook again as more weapons. Fire hit the weakening shields. There was no time for arguments. Go, all of you. That's a direct order from your captain. Reluctantly, the bridge crew headed for the escape pod bays. Jae-ho watched them leave, knowing he would never see them again. Then he sat down at the communication console and began preparing the quantum message transmitter. The device was designed for emergency use only. It could send a single short message across vast distances instantly, but the energy release would destroy everything within 1,000 kilometers. It was a weapon as much as a communication tool, and now it was humanity's only hope. Jae-ho typed his message carefully. Every word was important. First contact failed. They hunt us. Prepare for war. Signed, Captain Kim. He programmed the message to transmit to Earth's Defense Command Center, then began the charging sequence. The ship's power systems screamed in protest as enormous amounts of energy flowed into the quantum communicator. Outside, the alien ships had stopped firing. Perhaps they realized the new Soul was finished and were moving in to capture any survivors. That was exactly what Jae-ho had hoped for. He triggered the device. The explosion lit up space like a new star. The new Soul vanished in a ball of pure energy that consumed everything nearby. 2 of the alien warships were caught in the blast and destroyed instantly. The others were damaged and thrown backward by the shock wave, but the message had been sent. Racing faster than light itself, it crossed 25 light-years of space in an instant and reached Earth's defense systems. Jae-ho had succeeded in his final mission. The surviving alien ships recovered quickly and began searching for the human escape pods. They found 4 pods drifting in space, their occupants unconscious from the explosion's shockwave. Mi-young, Park Dong-woo Lee, Hee-jin Choi, and Tae-min Yoon were taken prisoner and transported to the alien ships. When they woke up, they found themselves in prison cells aboard one of the warships. The cells were designed for humans. The aliens had obviously studied human biology very carefully. They had breathable air, adequate food, and comfortable temperatures. The aliens wanted their prisoners alive. Admiral Kextar, the metal-skinned alien who had demanded their surrender, visited them in their cells. His glowing red eyes showed no emotion as he looked at the human prisoners. "Your captain was a fool," he said. "That explosion accomplished nothing except to delay the inevitable." "Why are you doing this?" Mi-young asked. "We came to you in peace. We offered friendship and cooperation." "Because you are predators," Admiral Kextar replied. "We have studied your species for 40 years, listening to your radio transmissions, watching your behavior. You are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered." "We're not dangerous," Dongwu protested. "We've moved beyond our violent past. We want to join the Galactic Commune." Fleet Admiral Sung-Ho Kang stood in the command center deep beneath the mountains of South Korea, staring at the message that had just arrived from space. The words were simple, but they changed everything. "First contact failed. They hunt us. Prepare for war. Signed, Captain Kim." The message had taken exactly 3.7 seconds to travel from the alien attack site to Earth using quantum communication technology. That was 3.7 seconds to cross 25 light-years of space. It was also 3.7 seconds for humanity to transform from a peaceful, exploring species into something much more dangerous. "Get me President Nam immediately," Admiral Kang ordered. "Emergency protocols are now in effect." Within minutes, President In-suk Nam appeared on the main communication screen. Her face was calm, but Admiral Kang could see the steel in her eyes that had made her one of the most respected leaders in human history. "How bad is it?" she asked. "Unknown alien force destroyed our first contact ship. Captain Kim died getting this message to us. We have to assume they're coming for Earth. How long do we have?" "Unknown. But if they destroyed our ship, they know exactly where we are. My guess is they'll want to attack before we can prepare proper defenses." President Nam nodded. "Activate the Terra Defense Protocol. Call the emergency session of the United Earth Council. And Admiral, wake up the sleeping giants." Admiral Kang felt a chill at those words. The sleeping giants were weapons and defense systems that had been built in secret over the past 50 years. Military leaders had always worried that first contact with aliens might not go well. They had prepared for the worst-case scenario, hoping they would never need to use these preparations. Now it seemed they had been right to worry. Within 6 hours, every human government, military organization, and corporation had received the emergency alert. The message was the same everywhere. "Alien attack imminent. All forces to battle stations. This is not a drill." The transformation was incredible to watch. Factories that had been making consumer goods shut down their normal production lines and began building weapons. Space stations that had been used for scientific research were converted into military bases. Civilian ships were fitted with armor and weapon systems. General Kyung-Soo Baek of the Mars Defense Corps stood in the shipyard orbiting the Red Planet, watching as passenger liners were being transformed into warships. Giant construction robots welded armor plating to the hulls while workers installed missile launchers and energy weapons. "How many ships can we convert?" he asked his chief engineer. "In the time we have? Maybe 500 combat-capable vessels. They won't be pretty, but they'll fight." "Make it 1,000, General Beck ordered. "Strip every piece of metal from the civilian sector if you have to. Every ship in space gets weapons." "On Earth, Doctor." So young Kwan unlocked vault doors that had been sealed for decades. Inside were the plans and prototypes for weapons that had been deemed too dangerous during peacetime. Plasma cannons that could melt through a kilometer of solid rock. Kinetic missiles that could crack a moon in half. Fusion bombs so powerful they could turn a small planet into an asteroid field. "Are we really going to use these?" her assistant asked, as they reviewed the horrifying weapon specifications. "We're going to use everything," Dr. Kwan replied. "The aliens made a mistake when they attacked us first. Now they get to see what humans are truly capable of when they're fighting for survival." Admiral Wu Jin Hong of the Lunar Fleet Command activated systems that had been hidden in the moon for 30 years. Deep beneath the lunar surface, massive factories had been built in secret. They had been waiting, ready to begin production the moment they were needed. Now they roared to life. Automated assembly lines began building ships designed specifically for war against unknown alien enemies. These were not exploration vessels or diplomatic ships. These were pure weapons of destruction, built by a species that had spent thousands of years perfecting the art of warfare. The ships had names that would have terrified the aliens if they had understood human history. Revenge, Retribution, Fury, Wrath. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a small fleet. But the most impressive awakening happened on the dark side of the moon, where Project Damocles had been waiting for half a century. These were not ships. They were mobile weapons platforms the size of cities. Each Damocles station carried a single weapon, a dark matter cannon capable of destroying an entire planet. Admiral Hong stood on the command deck of the lead Damocles station as it powered up for the first time in decades. The massive weapon systems came online one by one, displaying power levels that made conventional nuclear weapons look like children's toys. "How many of these stations are operational?" he asked. 15, Admiral. Each one can fire once every 6 hours. The energy requirements are enormous. 15 planet killers, Admiral Hong said quietly. The aliens have no idea what they've unleashed. Meanwhile, Captain Bom Yi-shin prepared for humanity's first stealth reconnaissance mission into alien space. Her ship, the Ghost of Earth, used experimental cloaking technology that bent light and sensor waves around the hull, making it effectively invisible. The Ghost of Earth was small and fast, designed for one purpose: to gather intelligence on enemy forces without being detected. Captain Shin and her crew of 12 volunteers knew they might not return from this mission, but they also knew that Earth needed information about the alien threat. "How long to reach the nearest alien system?" Captain Shin asked her navigator. 18 hours using the new FTL drive. The aliens won't be able to detect our approach. Good. We need to know what we're facing. The Ghost of Earth disappeared into faster-than-light travel, beginning a journey that would reveal the true scope of the alien threat. But it would also reveal the aliens' greatest weakness. They had no idea what humanity was capable of. Back on Earth, President Nam addressed the emergency session of the United Earth Council. Representatives from every nation, corporation, and colony listened as she spoke about the crisis facing humanity. "For the first time in our history, we face an enemy that wants to destroy our entire species," she said. "But we are not the helpless victims they think we are. For 50 years we have been preparing for this possibility. Now we will show them why humans became the dominant species on one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy." The response was immediate and unified. Every human faction put aside their differences to face the external threat. Corporate executives offered their factories and resources. Military commanders shared their most classified technologies. Scientists revealed projects they had worked on in secret for decades. The Luna City shipyards began producing vessels at a rate that defied belief. New ships rolled out of the construction bays every 6 hours. Each one was designed specifically to fight aliens with unknown capabilities. They carried multiple types of weapons, heavy armor, and advanced shielding systems. Dr. Min-jae Seo of the Titan Research Station activated the most secret project of all, the Human Enhancement Program. For 20 years, volunteers had been testing genetic and cybernetic improvements that could make humans faster, stronger, and more intelligent than any natural species. "How many enhanced soldiers do we have?" President Nam asked during a secure communication. 2,000 fully enhanced commandos and another 5,000 partially enhanced pilots and engineers. They're not quite superhuman, but they're close. Deploy them immediately. If we're going to fight aliens, we need every advantage we can get. The enhanced humans were incredible to watch in action. Their reflexes were 3 times faster than normal humans. Their strength was doubled. Their ability to process information and make decisions was enhanced to superhuman levels. They were living weapons, designed to fight enemies that could not be defeated by normal means. But the most important discovery came from Captain Shin and the Ghost of Earth. After reaching alien space, they found something that changed everything. The entire alien fleet was gathering in a single location. "Admiral Kang, you need to see this," Captain Shin reported through quantum communication. "They've assembled their entire attack force in the Vega system. I count over 10,000 ships from at least 12 different species. 10,000. Ships? Admiral Kang felt his blood run cold. That was more than humanity's entire space fleet, even counting all the converted civilian vessels. There's more, sir. They're not hiding or defending their position. They think we can't reach them. They have no idea we've developed long-range FTL capability. Admiral Kang realized what Captain Shin was suggesting. The aliens had made a critical error by concentrating their forces in one place. They thought humans were trapped in the Sol system, unable to strike back. They were wrong. Get back to Earth immediately, Admiral Kang ordered. We have a war to plan. The next phase of preparation was the most intense in human history. Every available ship was loaded with the most powerful weapons humanity could build. Crews were trained to fight in ways no human had ever fought before. Strategies were developed for battles in three-dimensional space against enemies with unknown capabilities. Admiral Hong took command of the attack fleet. 500 converted civilian ships, 300 purpose-built warships, and 15 Damocles planet killer stations. It was the largest military force humanity had ever assembled. What's our battle plan? General Bayek. Admiral Wu Jin Hong stood on the bridge of his flagship, the indomitable spirit watching as the largest military fleet in human history prepared for battle. Around him, 800 ships of every size and design floated in formation near the edge of the solar system. Converted cargo vessels bristled with weapons. Purpose-built warships gleamed with fresh armor plating. And hanging in the darkness like sleeping monsters were the 15 Damocles stations, each one carrying a weapon that could crack a planet. All ships report ready for jump, reported Commander Yejin Seo from her position at the fleet communication station. Enhanced crews are at battle stations. Weapons are armed and targeting systems are active. Admiral Hong looked at the tactical display showing the alien fleet in the Vega system. 10,000 enemy ships representing 12 different alien species. It was the largest military force the galaxy had ever seen, assembled for one purpose: the complete extinction of humanity. They think we're helpless, Admiral Hong said quietly. They think we'll wait here like frightened animals while they come to destroy us. They're about to learn that humans don't wait to be slaughtered. The plan was simple and brutal. The entire human fleet would jump directly into the Vega system using untested long-range FTL drives. They would appear in multiple positions around the alien fleet and attack immediately with every weapon they possessed. There would be no negotiations, no warnings, no mercy. The aliens had chosen extinction war, and humanity would give it to them. Admiral, incoming transmission from President Nam, Commander Seo announced. The main screen lit up with the image of Earth's president. Behind her, Admiral Hong could see the emergency command center where humanity's leaders had gathered to watch the battle that would determine their species' survival. Admiral Hong, you carry the hopes and prayers of every human being, President Nam said. Captain Kim and his crew died to warn us of this threat. Now it's time to make their sacrifice count. We won't let you down, Madam President, Admiral Hong replied. When we return, the alien threat will be ended forever. Remember, this isn't just about survival anymore. This is about showing the galaxy that humanity will never again be victim to unprovoked aggression. Fight well, Admiral. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Admiral Hong looked around at his crew, enhanced humans whose reflexes and intelligence had been boosted far beyond normal levels. They were ready for whatever the aliens could throw at them. Captain Cha, status of the Ghost Squadron, Admiral. Hong called to Captain Minho Cha, commander of the stealth ships. 50 Ghost-class vessels ready for deployment, Admiral. Each one carries dark matter torpedoes and experimental plasma cannons. The aliens won't see us coming until it's too late. Commander Seo, fighter wing status? 600 enhanced pilots. Ready in their fighters, Admiral. Response time 3 times faster than normal humans, accuracy improved by 200%. They're eager to show the aliens what human pilots can do. Admiral Hong nodded and turned to the tactical display. One final time. The battle plan was displayed in glowing holographics. Human forces would appear at 12 different points around the alien fleet, surrounding them completely. The Damocles stations would target the largest enemy vessels while conventional ships engaged smaller targets. "This is Admiral Hong to all ships," he announced over the fleet communication system. "In 30 seconds, we jump to the Vega system. Our mission is simple: destroy every alien ship in that system. Show no mercy to those who would have shown none to us. For Captain Kim, for Earth, for the future of humanity. All ships, execute jump in 10 seconds. The countdown began. Around the fleet, space itself began to shimmer as the massive FTL drives powered up. The energy requirements were enormous. Every nuclear reactor in the fleet was pushed to maximum output. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. Space twisted, reality bent, and 800 human ships vanished from the solar system in an instant. 25 light-years away in the Vega system, the alien fleet continued its preparations for the attack on Earth. Admiral Kextar stood on the bridge of his command ship, reviewing the final details of the human extermination plan. "Status. Report," he demanded. "All ships are in position and ready for the attack on the human system," his tactical officer reported. 10,000 vessels from 12 species. Long-range scanners show no human activity outside their solar system. They remain trapped and helpless. "Excellent. In 18 standard hours, we launch the attack. By the end of tomorrow, the human threat will be eliminated forever." But even as Admiral Kextar spoke these words, space around the alien fleet began to shimmer and twist. Sensors throughout the Confederation fleet detected massive energy signatures appearing from nowhere. "Admiral, we have a problem," the tactical officer said, his voice rising in alarm. "Multiple unknown contacts appearing throughout the system. Hundreds of them." "What?" Admiral Kextar stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Red dots were appearing everywhere. Above the fleet, below it, to all sides. In seconds, the alien force found itself completely surrounded. "How is this possible? The humans don't have long-range FTL capability." His answer came in the form of 800 human warships materializing out of nowhere. They appeared in perfect formation, weapons already charged and targeting systems locked onto alien vessels. Admiral Hong's voice echoed across every alien communication channel in the system. "Attention, Confederation fleet. You came here to commit genocide against the human species. Instead, you have signed your own death warrant. This is for Captain Kim and his crew. This is for every human you plan to murder, and this is to ensure you never threaten anyone again." The first volley from the human fleet was devastating. Plasma cannons, kinetic missiles, and exotic energy weapons struck the alien ships before they could even raise their shields. Explosions lit up the darkness as Confederation vessels were torn apart by weapons they had never seen before. Captain Cha's Ghost Squadron struck like phantoms from the darkness. Their ships remained invisible until the moment they fired, launching dark matter torpedoes that simply erased sections of alien vessels from existence. One moment, a Confederation cruiser would be fighting normally. The next moment, it would have a perfectly spherical hole through its center where the torpedo had passed. "Impossible!" Admiral Kextar shouted as his fleet began to collapse around him. Where did they get such weapons? How did they cross 25 light-years in an instant? But there was no time for answers. Commander Seo's fighter squadron swept through the alien formation like a swarm of deadly insects. The enhanced human pilots moved with superhuman speed and precision, their small ships dancing between alien weapons while delivering surgical strikes against critical systems. The alien pilots were skilled, but they were not prepared to fight opponents whose reflexes were 3 times faster than any natural species. Human fighters wove impossible patterns through space, avoiding enemy fire while delivering devastating attacks. "Target the command ships," Admiral Hong ordered. "Cut off their coordination." The 15 Damocles stations opened fire for the first time in their existence. Dark matter cannons that had been designed to destroy planets focused their terrible power on the largest Confederation vessels. Alien dreadnoughts that had taken decades to build simply vanished in balls of twisted space-time. Admiral Kextar watched in horror as his flagship sister ships were erased from existence one by one. Each dark matter blast removed another irreplaceable vessel from the Confederation Navy. "All ships scatter and retreat," he ordered desperately. "We cannot fight weapons like these." But it was too late. The human fleet had surrounded the alien force completely. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The species the Confederation had planned to exterminate in a surprise attack was now demonstrating why they had been right to fear humanity's potential. "Admiral, they're trying to escape," Commander Seo reported. "Don't let a single ship leave this system," Admiral Hong replied coldly. "They wanted to murder every human being. Now they pay the price for that decision." The battle became a rout. Alien ships tried to flee in all directions but found human vessels waiting for them. The Ghost Squadron hunted down stragglers with dark matter weapons. Fighter squadrons swarmed around larger alien ships like predators, bringing down wounded prey. Some alien captains tried to surrender, broadcasting desperate messages offering to negotiate. But Admiral Hong had his orders. No mercy for those who would have shown none to humanity. Captain Min Ho Cha destroyed 3 more Confederation cruisers with dark matter torpedoes before reporting to the flagship. "Admiral, we've eliminated their main battle line. Only scattered survivors remain." "Continue the hunt," Admiral Hong ordered. "I want every alien ship in this system destroyed." The battle continued for 6 more hours, but it was never really in doubt after the first human volley. The Confederation fleet, assembled to destroy humanity, was systematically annihilated by weapons and tactics they could not comprehend. When the last alien ship exploded in a ball of plasma fire, the Vega system fell silent except for the quiet hum of human vessels collecting battle data and searching for survivors. "Casualty report," Admiral Hong requested. 12 human ships damaged, 2 destroyed, Commander Seo reported. 40 cess. 3 months after the Battle of Vega, the galaxy was a very different place. News of humanity's devastating victory had spread to every star system in Confederation space. The species that had once ruled 12,000 worlds now lived in fear of the predators they had tried to destroy. Admiral Mi Young Park stood in the command center of the new Terran Galactic Authority headquarters, built in the ruins of what had once been the Confederation capital on Nexus Prime. She looked out through the massive windows at the alien city below, where creatures from dozens of species went about their daily lives under human protection. It was strange to think that just months ago, she had been a prisoner here, listening to alien leaders plan the extermination of her species. Now she wore the uniform of the galaxy's new Supreme Commander, responsible for maintaining peace across thousands of worlds. "Admiral, incoming transmission from the Catharin delegation," reported Lieutenant Taiwan Jung from his communication station. "Put them through," Admiral Park replied. The main screen lit up with the image of Ambassador Yalbeth, a tall, insect-like being who had been one of the first alien leaders to surrender after Vega. The Catharin Empire controlled 200 worlds, and had immediately offered to become a human protectorate when they learned what happened to the Confederation fleet. "Admiral Park, we have completed the relocation of our military forces to the designated neutral zones," Ambassador Yalbeth reported. "All Catharin weapons have been registered with your authority as requested." "Thank you, Ambassador. Your cooperation has not gone unnoticed. The Catharin worlds will continue to enjoy full autonomy under human protection." "We are grateful for your mercy, Admiral. Many of my people expected harsher treatment after our species participated in the planned attack." On your homeworld, Admiral Park's expression softened slightly. "Humanity doesn't believe in punishing entire populations for the decisions of their leaders. Your species chose to surrender peacefully and accept the new order. That counts for something." The transmission ended, and Admiral Park turned to her Chief of Staff, Colonel Dongwu Li. He had been her fellow prisoner just months ago, and now he helped manage the surrender of alien civilizations. "How many species have formally surrendered?" she asked. 8 of the original 12 Confederation members, Colonel Li reported. The Catharins, the Vorthak, the Silicants, the Aquarians, the Nomad clans, the Crystal Builders, the Void Walkers, and the Metal Shapers. They represent about 60% of former Confederation territory. And the others? The Tree Singers and the Energy Beings have gone into hiding in deep space. We're still tracking them, but they pose no immediate threat. The Shapeshifters have sealed their borders and refuse all communication. And the Exolians are fighting a losing war, Admiral Park finished. "Any word from Ambassador Veltar?" He's still refusing to surrender. The Exolian military is making a final stand in their home system. General Bayek's fleet should reach them within the week. Admiral Park nodded and turned back to the window. The Exolians had been the masterminds behind the planned human genocide. While she could show mercy to species that surrendered, she could not forget that Veltar had looked her captain in the eye and lied about friendship while planning to murder every human being. A soft chime indicated another incoming transmission. This time it was President Insuk Nam, calling from Earth. Admiral Park, I have good news, President Nam announced. The prisoner exchange has been completed. Hyejin Choi and Tae-min Yoon have been returned safely to Earth. Admiral Park felt a surge of relief. Her two fellow prisoners had spent months in alien captivity while the war raged. Getting them back safely had been one of her top priorities as the new galactic commander. How are they? She asked. Physically healthy, though the experience has changed them. They're both requesting transfer to the Alien Affairs Department. They want to help build better relationships between humans and peaceful alien species. That sounds like them, Admiral Park said with a small smile. They always believed in the possibility of friendship between species, even after everything we went through. President Nam's expression became more serious. Admiral, we need to discuss the long-term situation. The galaxy is looking to humanity for leadership now. How we handle this responsibility will shape the future for thousands of years. I understand the weight of it, Madam President. What are your instructions? Be firm, but fair. Show strength when necessary, mercy when possible. The aliens feared us because they thought we would dominate the galaxy through force. Instead, let's prove that humans can be trusted with power. After the call ended, Admiral Park made her way to the detention center where the surviving Confederation leadership was being held. These were the beings who had planned humanity's extinction, and now they awaited judgment for their crimes. Ambassador. Veltar was held in a comfortable cell designed for his species. He looked up as Admiral Park entered, his crystal skin flickering with colors that indicated shame and defeat. Admiral Park, he said quietly, I did not expect to see you again. You tried to have my entire species murdered, Park replied. I thought you deserved to hear your sentence from one of the people you planned to kill. And what is my sentence? Life imprisonment. You will live to see the galaxy that your actions created. One where humans rule through the strength you feared, but also through the compassion you never understood. Veltar's skin darkened. You could have us executed. Most species would after what we attempted. Most species didn't evolve on Earth, Admiral Park said. Humans learned long ago that mercy is often stronger than vengeance. You will live, but you will spend that life watching humanity accomplish everything you tried to prevent, peacefully. As she left the detention center, Admiral Park's communication device chimed with an urgent message. General Kyung-Soo Baek was reporting from the Exolian home system. Admiral, the Exolian fleet has surrendered, General Baek announced. Their homeworld is secure. We found something interesting in their archives. Detailed files on dozens of other species they were watching as potential threats. What kind of threats? Species like us. Young, aggressive, rapidly advancing civilizations that the Confederation was planning to eliminate before they could become dangerous. We weren't their first target, just their most immediate one. Admiral Park felt a chill. How many species? At least 40 that we've found so far. Some were destroyed decades ago. Others are still out there unaware that they were marked for extinction. Get me a full list. If we're going to rule this galaxy, we need to know who else might need our protection. The scope of the Confederation's crimes was becoming clear. They hadn't just planned to destroy humanity. They had been systematically eliminating any species that might eventually challenge their dominance. It was galactic-scale genocide, disguised as preventive peacekeeping. Admiral Park made a decision that would reshape the galaxy. She activated the emergency communication system that could reach every inhabited world simultaneously. This is Admiral Mi-young Park of the Terran Galactic Authority, she began. I am speaking to all species, on all worlds. throughout what was once Confederation space. Her image appeared on screens across thousands of worlds. Aliens of every shape and size stopped what they were doing to listen to the human who had become the most powerful being in the galaxy. 3 months ago, the Galactic Confederation attempted to exterminate humanity because they feared our potential. Today, we have discovered that they planned the same fate for dozens of other species. The Confederation wasn't maintaining galactic peace. It was preventing the natural evolution of civilization itself. She paused, letting the implications sink in across the galaxy. This ends now. The Terran Galactic Authority hereby extends protection to all species, regardless of their age, their technology, or their potential. No longer will young civilizations live in fear of extinction simply for existing. No longer will older species be allowed to eliminate competition through genocide. The response was immediate. Communication channels lit up with messages from species throughout the galaxy, some offering support, others requesting protection, still others asking to join. The new human-led order. Dr. So Young Kwan's voice came over the command center's speakers from her laboratory on Earth. Admiral, we're receiving requests for technology sharing from over 300 species. They want access to our defensive systems to protect themselves from any remaining Confederation loyalists. Approved for defensive technologies only, Admiral Park replied. We'll share what they need to protect themselves, but nothing that could be used for aggression. Captain Bam Yi Shin reported in from her scouting mission in the Outer Rim territories. Admiral, I've made contact with the Zealand Republic. They're a young species, about 200 years into spaceflight. According to their records, Confederation ships have been monitoring them for the past 50 years. What's their status? Grateful to be alive mostly. They thought they were alone in the galaxy. Learning that they were marked for elimination has been difficult for them to process. Admiral Park understood. The Zilans were probably where humanity would have been if Captain Kim's mission had succeeded. They were young, hopeful, and completely unprepared for the brutal realities of galactic politics. Offer them full mirror,